This is Ramon Mejia from Geek Bytes Podcast. I just got finished interviewing Vasily Mahanenko, author of the Way of the Shaman series and Galacticon, two of my favorite LitRPG stories. It was a really interesting time talking to Vasily. English is not his first language, so there were some pauses while he looked up proper English words, but it was really fun. If you're a fan of those series, especially Way of the Shaman, you're going to want to watch this interview because he gives you some big time spoilers for some of the stuff that happens later on in the series that hasn't been translated to English, as well as a nice time frame on when we can expect his next stories to come out. Go listen to the interview. It was a blast. I had a great time doing it. I hope you guys have a great time listening to it or watching it, as the case may be. So go watch the interview. Hey everybody, I'm Ramon Mejia from Geek Bytes Podcast. Today I have the distinct privilege of talking to one of the men responsible for the popularization of LitRPG in both Russia and in the United States. Vasily Mahanenko, the author of the Way of the Shaman and Galacticon series. Zdrastvuyte and welcome.
Hello everyone, it's very nice to see you, to hear you, and to speak with you.
See, this guy's good on the internet, man. I got to tell you, you're doing really nicely. For people who don't know who you are, Vasily, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and your background as an author?
What can I say about myself? First of all, I'm a Russian author, and I'm one of those who create such genre like LitRPG. 3 or 4 years ago, I really don't remember, I was creating the first books, which called The Way of Shaman, Book 1, The Beginner. In Russia, it called like this. And after this, it very surprised was for me. The people from Russia was very pleased with this genre, and they was famous. They was asking me. They asked me to create another book and to write another book. I was very surprised because I never thought that such genre and such literature can be so populated but it was. So I sat and create another book and started to write the second book. But our people wants to give some description about literature which I was written. They asked me, "What do you write? What do you write?" I said, "It's some kind of cyberpunk." They say, "No, it's not cyberpunk. It's something like another." I said, "Wow, maybe it's some kind of RPG?" They, no. What does it mean, RPG? So I'm Dmitry Rus and Alexei Bobel, it's my agent, sit together and decided how to call this genre. And 4 years ago, we create one word, and it was one word, sorry, and it was LitRPG. We was those who create this genre. And after this, when readers ask me, "In what genre do you write?" I answer them, "In genre of LitRPG." They say, "What?" I say, "It's okay, it's normal genre, it's perfect." Well, after this, I was create my series about Shaman, the whole 7 books in this genre about this character. And for the 3 years in Russia was created more than 4,000 different series, different books in genre LitRPG. It was very popular genre in Russia. It was very good books. It was very awful books. Some books consist only Wait for a second. I only
It's okay. I understand what you mean. That the lit RPG genre has a lot of different books. Some are
only
good,
number,
some are
only
bad.
numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
this word is number.
Mm.
Well, some books consist only numbers, no else, no plots, no character, no anything, just numbers. And people read it. People interested in it. And it was very surprised for me and for everyone here. So I'm continuing to write in this genre right now. And after I was finished the Way of Shaman, I continue to write the new series. It's called Dark Paladin. Well, I finished the first book this month. I sent it to editor. Editor. First of all, I want to say that my English is not so very good. It has to be. So I use Google Translate in some words I don't remember.
It's okay. We understand that you're doing very well with your English so far. I gotta say, I'm sure the people who are watching are more than happy to see it. But I'm very interested that you're actually reading another lit RPG book called The Dark Paladin. Is that set in the same universe as The Way of the Shaman? Is it in the same game, or it's different entirely?
The Dark Paladin is from our world.
Okay.
It's not the world of Shaman or another world. It's from those world in where we live, in what we live. So I think you will find this book very nice. It
sounds interesting. Let me ask you if I'm describing it correctly. So it takes place in our world, and our world has RPG mechanics?
Yes.
Is that what it happens?
Yeah. It's some kind of LitRPG, real RPG. In our world, some kind of LitRPG mechanics, and it's some kind of Matrix. Do you know the film Matrix? So in this film, some kind of LitRPG was. And my Dark Paladin will be some kind of Matrix.
Okay, so now everyone's going to ask me, when can we expect the Dark Paladin to come to the United States or into English?
I think September my editor will finish. Cut this book. And to translate this book, it takes 4 months. I think, and so January or February next year, it will be in English.
Okay, that's wonderful. I'm sure anybody who's watching this is probably yelling in excitement, saying, "We get a new Vasily book! Yay!" So I'm sure they're glad to hear that. Let's talk briefly about the books that are already out for you. We have Start the Game, Galacticon. Can you tell anybody who's never read the book what that one's about very briefly?
Well, briefly, what? About Shaman or about Paladin? About Shaman.
Galacticon.
Start
the Game.
Yeah. Oh, Galactogon, yeah. Well, what can I say about this book? It was my first try to write a book about space. I'm not a science fiction author. I'm just fiction author. But as other people, I wanted to use myself in any different genres. So I tried to write books in general science fiction. I can't say that my trying was very good, really. I can't say that Galacticon is the perfect book which I was right. No, I can't see objectively. Yeah, Galacticon is a book about one person who create everything he can to get the final goal. The final goal. It's a planet with a bill.
Mm-hmm.
And due his investigation in this planet, he meet people, he kill people, he take parts in spaceship battle and other interesting and different things. But there are two worlds in Galacticon: the world into the game and the world out
Mm-hmm.
of the game. And the world out of the game has his own plot and his own characters, which wants to shoot and to kill my main hero. So I wanted to create two worlds in one book about worlds of space and world of modern life, or not future life, but out of games. I can't say that I was.
I'll say that I really liked Galacticon. I liked the book, Start the Game, which is what it's called in English. It was very enjoyable to see a combination like contest within the online world where characters were competing to try to solve this puzzle and get this major prize. And there were consequences in game and in our world where people were trying to kill each other because there's so much money involved with the contest in the real world. And in game, your character had several interesting choices. They could have been super smart, had an advantage, but instead he chose the hard path, which is very often a part of your stories where your character doesn't choose the easy way. He chooses the hard way, and it makes him stronger for it. So I love Start the Game at Galacticon.
No, I can't say that this book is awful. No, but I know that I didn't do my best. I really didn't do my best, and the second Galacticon, I will try to describe everything which I didn't describe in the first book, because why the main character get some bonus.
Mm-hmm.
From the first book, there is no any answers. He just get his spaceship. He just get his crew, partners on the spaceship. He just get everything. But why? In my mind, I have this answer, but in the first book I couldn't write it. I couldn't describe why it was for him. And in the second book, I'll try to do my best and describe everything which I didn't use in the first book.
Okay, perfect. Have you started writing the second book yet?
I'm not ready to do it right now, but I'm going to write it after Dark Paladin.
Okay.
There is 3 books will be in the Dark Paladin, and after this, I will write the second Galacticon.
Okay, so you're going to write the first 3 books of the Dark Paladin series and then go back to Galacticon. Got it.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so that's a wonderful description of Galacticon. Now, the other series that you have out currently in English is the Way of the Shaman series. Can you tell us what the basic story of the Way of the Shaman is?
First of all, I want to say how it was created.
Okay.
I am a gamer. I'm a real gamer, and I'm a hard gamer. I played. Sorry for marketing, I am fond of World of Warcraft. I was playing in this game for the last 8 years, from the Burning Crusade. And sometimes I was in a hard guild which started to kill the first boss, no, not the first boss, who started to kill boss, the first on the server.
Yeah.
Server.
So you had a raid boss.
Yeah, it's a raid boss, and I spend 4 or 5 hours in a day to play World of Warcraft. Really?
Yeah.
Every day.
Me and you both.
5 hours. And after 5 years of World of Warcraft, I read one book. It was, and also all this time I was played by Shaman. Really?
I always wondered why you chose Shaman for your main character's class, and now I know why.
Yeah, because 5 years, I have played Shaman 5 years in World of Warcraft.
Was your World of Warcraft character named Mahan?
Yep.
Yeah.
One day, 1 September in 2012, I have read the book of our Russian author Dan Mikhailov about World of Valdira. I really don't know how it called in Amazon. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. Yeah.
The World of Valdira. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I read it, and it was so famous for me. It was so surprised for me. It was so interesting for me that after I finished the read first book, I understood that I had to write by myself. I had to write something I never read before this. Really, I am a project manager of SAP implementation. I am from IT technology, and 12 years I implement the information system for the whole Russian and even Ukraine. So when I have read the World of Valdira, it was so famous for me that I sat and write the first chapter of the Shaman. We have one resource in Russia. It's called Samlib, where the beginner of those who wants to show their creation, their books, their articles, their everything, put their text there, and
it's like our railroad over here. We use something similar. I think Simon mentioned the last time I talked to him. It's like we use railroad. You have that one.
Yeah. Well, and reader, it was very surprised for me that readers didn't tell me that also kill yourself or it's called in Russia, put your hands on the wall. Really? No, they asked me to write again. They asked me the second chapter. They suggest me to continue, and I was very surprised. Really, I never thought that those text which I was write will be interesting for whom will be interesting by 1 or 2 person, but when every day 3,000 or 4,000 people came to see the the new chapters, it was very surprised for me. And chapter by chapter, the first shaman was finished. And only after these, I read books about how to write books. Really. I never thought about it before. But only after first book I was writing, I decided to know how to create book, how to write book. It was very surprised for me that it has to be main character, not main character, plot, and some kind of books. And I understand that I haven't such things in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat and created the plot from the whole series. For the American readers, I want to ask you excuse for the Monte River 5 fifth books, really. Because after fifth book in Russia, I get so many negative. Really.
What did they say? I'm curious.
People told me that I'm a devil, some kind of devil, really, that I have to die, that I'm very crazy, that I'm not good author.
Wow, that's quite surprising. So after the fifth book, you got a lot of these complaints from people?
Author, no. I'm good author, but I'm not good. I'm not.
Did you kill someone off? Is that what you did in their stories? Because that would make people mad, I think.
Yep. I kill Mahan.
Oh. Well, you heard it, folks. And after book 5, even though he has 7 books,
No, I didn't kill him by really kill him. I kill him his mind. No, not mind. I killed morally, not morally, mentally, emotionally. I kill his emotion. Really. I thought
we're only on book 3, my friend. We're not up to book 5 yet. So we have a lot of stuff to look forward to. Apparently,
I think
wow.
book 4 will be in January or February next year, and the book 5 will be maybe May of next year. So in May next year, I really want to know what my readers in America and other countries, not Russia.
You're apologizing in advance of us reading the book. I'm sorry, guys, what happens to Mahan, but know that things change afterwards. So, hey, thank you for that in advance, my friend. So just as a quick rundown for the story, so people who are listening know what we're talking about. The Way of the Shaman, the first book, is called Survival Games, or the Survival Quest in English. And it's about Mahan, who's a hacker. He gets in trouble with the local government because he hacks a municipal server. And he is sentenced to a life in jail. But in this world, in this future world, instead of going to jail, he goes to virtual reality jail, where criminals are put in a special capsule where they feel something like 100% of the pain threshold in the virtual world. And Mahan he's given a character class that nobody wants, and he's sent to prison and a mining camp to gather resources for the game masters. And it's not a very pleasant experience for him as a character, but he makes the most of it. He uses his class, he uses his shaman abilities to get out of jail early, and he goes on these wonderful adventures within the game world. And I definitely recommend it for you folks.
Wow. Right, you are. Thank you very much. Well,
yeah, and I gotta say, people who've read your third book so far, they've really loved it here in the United States. Just a few of their mentions of your book. They say Michael Roberts says that he loves your book.
I have to say, there is seven books about Mahan. So and they all finished. And after fifth book, don't forget about sixth and seventh book.
Oh no, well, I gotta say, people who are reading your stories now, they really want book 5 and book 6 just to see what happens after book 5, and so I know I'll purchase them all. I know some people that started to learn Russian in America just so they can read your books in Russian. But as far as the people who've thought about Way the Shaman book 3, they said, Michael Roberts says, I love his book. It's the best of the 3 so far. Anthony Bayer says, it wasn't awesome. He wants to read it again because he read your book so fast the first time. Brad Cooley says that he finished it, and he said he wants to learn Russian just so he can get an advanced lead on everyone else on reading all the other books. So why do you think that The Way of the Shaman is so popular with your readers?
I really don't know. First of all, no. First of all, because it's the first series about LitRPG, really. It's the first whole series, about 7th book, which was finished and which was first created, it was first written. Maybe because I'm the perfect author. No. Maybe because people want to play games, but they can't play games, and reading book about games they play in their mind, just reading. I really don't know, but what I know that The Way of Shaman is it's books about some kind of me, because when I write about Mahan, I write about myself, about me, about myself, about my opinion, about my behavior, about everything what I do in such situation, in what Mahan appears. So when you read about Mahan, you read about me.
And I think that's important, actually, because as a writer, especially as a first-time writer, you don't have a lot of experience outside of your own self. So when you're writing as if it's you, I think it's a lot easier because you know your thoughts, you know what you would do, and your ability to describe that on the page really comes through to the readers. It feels real to them because it's really what you as the person, as the author would do if you were in that situation. You as a gamer bring all those stats, they bring all the equations to it. Because I got to say, when you were describing how you first started writing, I'm like, hey, that's me. I started doing the same thing. I'm writing my own book because I love LitRPG. And even if nobody reads it, even if I put it on Road or Amazon, I mean, it's just me writing because I love these stories. And I know so many authors that I've talked to personally or in our LitRPG groups, they start the same way. One's a doctor, and he did the same thing. He read a book, and he's like, I got to write something. And he wrote it, and he's like a #1 best-selling author in LitRPG here. And lawyers, IT guys, well, just regular doctors and regular people who don't have jobs, they've all had the same experience. And a lot of the first books that they've read are yours. They read The Way of the Shaman, and they're like, this is good. I like this. I can do this. I can write this because I love video games. I know math. I can do the equations, and I know all my stats from like Dungeons and Dragons or video games, and they did it, and they're successful sometimes, and other times they're just put it on the internet for people to read, and people like it there. But more and more people in America are doing the same thing you did. They're writing their fiction, and they're getting opinions, and they're realizing people like this stuff, and they're putting on Amazon, self-publishing it, and they're doing really well for themselves sometimes.
Right, you are. And also I can say that people, I just can say that really people wants to play games. It's some kind of drugs, really. And when they didn't get the drugs from computer, they get it from the books, and it's perfect to get it there.
No, I agree. I think I've said before, it's like these books are like a drug because you want more and more, just like you would with your video games. So we're on the same page.
Well, what else I can tell you about?
Let's talk about some of the things you're working on currently that are projects of yours. I think you have two projects I think that are currently going on. The Way the Shaman is being translated into German. I believe that's coming out in September, so that's a good project. But the one I'm really interested in talking about is the Way of the Shaman comic. What can you tell me about the Way of the Shaman comic?
Well, I'm trying to answer about all my projects.
Okay.
First of all, of course, I translate my first book, The Way of the Shaman, to the German. Really, it was very interesting for me to show German people how it's, what does it mean, LitRPG in German. And it's very interesting for me. Will it be so interesting for German like it interesting for American or not? Nobody knows.
Right. It's a risk.
It's a very big risk, but we finished translation of the first book to German, and the 6th of September, if I'm right, the first books will be on Amazon.
Excellent.
It's about German. Also, this year, maybe in autumn, maybe in winter, in December, the Way of Shaman go in... Wait for a second. Czech Republic.
Okay.
In written form, in books.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. This autumn or in December, the first books of the Way of the Shaman will be in Czech Republic, and I also don't know, will Czech people love LitRPG or not? It's so another kind of risk. Second risk. Third project. I'm working with 3D models. I find people who create me the chess of Commandant, the set of chess of Commandant, and these people create me 3D models of this chess, and after this I printed it in the 3D printer, and result of the first 3 figures from chess of Commandant, it's some kind of this ox. I'm sorry, they are white right now, but they have to be green. I even didn't color them.
Right.
Well, I believe next year I will finish the whole set. Not next year. I think it will be next 2 years. We'll finish the whole set, and it will be possible to create for everyone who wants to get this set for himself.
Oh, perfect. You're going to release the files for the 3D models?
Yep, because the main problem is to create these models. But when the models will be created, to print them in the 3D printer, it's not a problem. Just a printer. Well, it's the third project. Fourth project. It's a comic. I decided that will be very interesting for me, just for me, to watch. What does it mean, the Way of the Shaman in a painting form? And I find some kind of painter with whom we create comics. Right now, it consists from 66 pages, which describe only the first chapter of the first book. One chapter consists 66 pages, and it was created for the last 7th month.
Mm-hmm.
One chapter, 7th month. The first book have 30 chapters, as I remember. So the whole comic for the first book will be finished, I believe, in the 3 years.
No, I know someone else who's also making a comic for his book, Alaron Kong, who writes a series in the United States called The Land. He's also making a comic out of his novels, although he's doing it differently. He's doing little side stories of other characters in his story. It's not the main story; it's like side characters. He's doing their stories as comics, and he said it's a lot harder than he thought it was going to be too, because you got to find an artist, you got to find someone to do the translation work sometimes, or do the rough draft, and then you got to find someone who's going to either print them or put them on the web, and that can be kind of difficult to find all those people to work together, and it's a lot more challenging than people think.
Well, I really believe that I finished comics.
Yeah.
Maybe this year. Mm-hmm. December, it's a high date when I wanted to finish the first comic.
Right.
The first chapter. And maybe December, I show all people this comic. Maybe they like it. Maybe they will not like it. I don't know. It's a fourth risk.
It's always a risk to put your stuff out there, but I gotta say, so far the things that you've put out there, people have loved, and it's because you're a good writer and people can relate to you. They can relate to the fact that you're a gamer, just like we're gamers, and we love reading. I mean, personally, what I love about LitRPG is all the numbers. I love all the numbers. I love knowing the equations. I love min-maxing my character. I love, I bought Dungeons and Dragon manuals as a kid so that I could learn the formulas and know how to make my character the best that it could be. And I love, of course, the fantasy story, and I love gaming. And so all those combined to me kind of make what LitRPG is. And you're not the only one who has it, obviously, because there are tons of us nerds who just love that kind of stuff. And this genre is popular, I think, because there are so many of us.
Okay. And the last project which I have, nobody knows about this. I have website. Mm-hmm. And first of all, it was website for Russians. And here, I was create some interesting mechanism. I was create the reputation with author, and I have created some kind of game here, the LitRPG game here, and I was created for the Russian readers, and they was very pleased, and there were many crying, shouting, laughing, and other things because someone passed this quest. It's some kind of quest. Mm-hmm. LitRPG. Someone passed this quest, someone didn't pass this quest, and I have the mechanism to create this quest. And after book 4 will translate, I translate quest in English.
Okay.
And suggest all English readers to pass through this quest about Mahan, about Plinter, Stacy, and other character.
Okay, so let me see if I understand you correctly. You created a LitRPG game. Now, is this a tabletop game that like Dungeons and Dragons, or is it a video game?
Some kind of it's some kind of literature quest.
Okay, so this is like a real life quest game. Is that what you mean? Like people have clues and they go off and find quest stuff?
Wait, I tried to describe. For example, mm-hmm. You start the quest, and the first page you see, blah 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 blah. you are blah 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 blah. You are find some doors.
Okay.
Which doors will you come? Left doors, right doors. You go straight.
Oh, so this is more like a text game that you have on your website.
Yep.
Okay.
It's some kind of text game which I was creating in my website. So I have to create this for Russian.
Yeah.
They was very pleased. They was
Good.
very interesting for them. And after fourth books will be translated and everyone will read it. I create this quest for English readers, and this is my 5th project, which I will do maybe in December.
After the 4th book comes out. So hey, we have a lot to look forward to. You have 5 different projects. Some of them apply to the English people, some apply internationally. We definitely look forward to seeing all your stuff in the future. So thank you very much for telling us about the Way of the Shaman and all your secret projects. They're very, very cool.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to a little bit more of the.
By the way, I have this 7th project, but it's not. I have. Wait for a second. I use my helper.
Mm-hmm.
I have application for the mobile platform, for the Google, for the Android, and for the Apple. In this application, you can read my books.
Oh yeah.
It's some kind of Kindle, but it's only for the phone or table, planchette. Wait for a second.
Desktop.
Desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Tablet.
Yeah, you have an application. I think I've seen it before, marketed by Magic Dome Books in English, saying this is the Vasily Mahanenko book reader. You can find all the books in English there. I've seen it before on like Facebook, and it's a very interesting app. So that's another project of yours.
Because there is no Amazon in Russia, and it was first of all it was great for Russian readers because we haven't Amazon.
Right.
Amazon haven't Russian books.
And what kind of platform do you have for digital distribution in Russia then?
I created for the App Stores and the Google Play for the whole platform.
Right.
And it's called Maka Books. And now I'm working for such deal that people will buy in Amazon my books and read it.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to read it also by their phone.
Yeah, we can do that now.
I'm working on such kind of things that in the end of each books on Amazon will be some kind of code, code which people can use to put into this application and get my books free because they have already bought it. Well, maybe next month, maybe in 2 months, I was update my application, and it will be very interesting for those who read my books not only in Kindle but also wanted to read it in tablet, TV, or phone, or other devices which can use some kind of application.
Yeah, Amazon has an app for the phones and for the tablets and all that already. But I think it's really smart that you make your own reader application for the marketplaces for places in the world that don't have Amazon. Because like you said, Amazon doesn't exist in Russia. So you have a perfect opportunity to create your own distribution network for your book there. And I'm sure it's the same in a lot of other places. I mean, Amazon isn't everywhere. It's not as popular in China. It's not as popular in Brazil and some other places in the world. And so if everyone can find your book with just one application, that's all you really have to market, and then they can get future stuff from that same app. So it's a very smart move.
Yep, and also this application will be will help me to create some kind of subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, subscription. What does it mean? My translator will translate me next book. It translates chapter by chapter, and those who wanted to read right now, who wanted to read a chapter or not when it will be on Amazon, but right now they can use this application to read chapter by chapter by when they translate it.
Yeah. I think I've seen that on your website as well. People can basically pre-order your book, the new ones that haven't been done yet, in advance, and it's actually a little bit cheaper than it would be on Amazon by like $1 or $2, and they get chapter by chapter updates as the novel is translated. You get them sent to either your application, or you can view them, I think, by mail, email, or through the website. So I have to read the whole thing at once personally, so I've never done that. I've never bought that one from you. But for those readers who just can't wait, that's a perfect way for them to get the latest and the greatest chapters as they're translated from your novels.
I know that there is many such people in Russia, so I think that there are many people in the whole world who wanted to read chapter by chapter and who didn't or who don't want to wait when book will be on Amazon or other platform.
No, I hear you. There are a lot of people here in the United States who are the same way. They're always like, give me a new chapter. I need my LitRPG fix. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And also in this book, not only me, like an author, I suggest for the whole everyone in Russian author to use my application and to work. It's free for them. It's without money because I create it for myself. And if someone wants to use my platform, it's interesting for me and it's easy for me to give it to other author.
No, it's very generous of you, by the way, to extend that same kind of platform to another author, because otherwise they have to pay somebody to kind of host their book and get it to their fans as well. So it's very, very generous of you to make that same offer to other Russian authors.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, so I have 6 projects right now for the next 3 or 4 years.
You sound very busy.
And this project is not books. Also, I have another project. The Way of Shaman was finished. Okay, this series finished. Right now, I'm writing Dark Paladin. 3 books will be in this series. After this, I continue Galacticon. I think it will be 2, maybe 3 books in this series. After this, I will write about it called Julian Arniewski. It's some kind of not LitRPG. It's just fantasy. About girl with a perfect green eyes.
Sounds very romantic.
Oh, not romantic. I have to wait for a second. I give you link. One link. This is my friend. Wait a second. I put link.
Okay.
And after our discussion, you may see this is the eyes of those girl who will be the main character of future book.
Yep, I see. Very beautiful eyes. Wonderful.
It's a real girl. It's my friend. And by the way, what can I say? There are a lot of character in the Way of Shaman. There are a lot of name of cities, rivers, mountains, and other different things. But what I can say, all names from these books, it's a real names of my friends with whom I was playing in World of Warcraft.
Oh,
Every name I didn't get from my mind. I get it from the World of Warcraft. Mahan, Anastasia, Linda, everywhere, everyone was from World of Warcraft.
it's glad that you gave them the credit that they're due for helping you out and giving you all these ideas from World of Warcraft.
Yeah. One time I go to get some mine because my shaman was a miner, and in this game, 2 rock killed me. I was reborn
Mhm.
and remember their names. Next day, my book appears 2 bad guys.
So that's where that came from.
Because I don't like when someone kills my character.
No, player versus player is not my favorite aspect of online games. I don't like it when I get killed either.
Yeah, I really don't like PvP. So when someone kills me, I kill him in my books.
Well, it's good that you got your revenge in literature. Did you ever find them in the game and get them in the game, or just in the literature?
Again, please?
Did you kill them in World of Warcraft? Did you ever find them in World of
No.
Warcraft and kill them?
In World of Warcraft, they very high-level person.
Oh.
I was... they not only high-level person. I'm also high-level person, but they high-level skilled person.
Yeah. They have a player versus player kind of character. Yeah.
They know how to kill another people.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't understand how to kill another people. I can heal. My shaman is also heal. Just
right.
heal. Well, I can heal everyone. I can kill the boss, raid boss, but I don't like to kill another gamers.
No, I hear you. I'm kind of the same way. My builds, one of my characters are they're not for player versus player. They're for player versus environment, to kill monsters, to help the characters, to buff them, all that good stuff. So I hear what you're saying.
So I understood that I can't kill them in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But I can kill them in my book.
Yeah.
So 2 bad guys appears, and it was in the second book when Plinta helped Mahan to kill 3, 2, I don't remember how many, character from the not Phoenix, another clan. I don't remember.
It happened in your second book, which we got not too long ago, so that's why it's a little more fresh in my mind. I remember reading them thinking, wow, that's awfully specific of what happened to our character Mahan, and now it makes sense that it all just came from your experience as a gamer, so I appreciate you letting us know that. Now I have a few questions for you about how you write. Is that okay if I ask those?
Okay. How
let me ask you first. What kind of writing style do you have? Are you the kind of author who has an outline of what he wants, or do you just write as it comes to you?
Which a wonderful question you asked me. First book was created just from my mind, without any line of plot?
Outline.
Highline, yes. Plot or highline.
Yeah.
Without any story. It was like a shaman. What I see, what I spell, or theme. After the first book, before started to create the whole book, I create the guide, the whole line, which I will wanted to show, to say, and to write about what. Without it, the book, I can't say that book without it will be awful, because the first book was created without any guideline. But I want to say that the guideline will be very helpful for the author. When you have practice with it, it's very helpful. It's second, third, maybe fourth and fifth books I really write guideline from the on the piece of paper and write using it. I write guideline right now, but only in my mind.
I see.
Because after 10 books you have write, you didn't want to use your pencil and a sheet of paper and write something. You just take your type? No, not keyboard. You just use your keyboard. I'm sorry, I really don't remember some words, and I have to use Google Translate. Well, so right now, my guideline for every book not appears. They находятся. I'm sorry. The guideline is on my mind, and I write it using my keyboard.
Perfect. That's wonderful. So for your first book, it was more just off the no guide, no outline. But from the second book on through book 7, you knew what you wanted to do when you were writing. You had a guideline, you had that outline going. So it looks like you're kind of both, but as you progressed as an author, you started to use more structure so you don't get lost. And I think that's pretty common when you're writing a series, is you have to have some kind of structure so you can see where the story is going as it progresses, because otherwise, when you're writing over here, you kind of forget what happened back here and what you want to happen over here. So I think that's a good idea, especially when you're writing a longer series. If it's just going to be one book, it's fine. To write off your brain, I think, for a lot of people. But the longer your story, I got to tell you, I have tons of notes in my story. It's only one thing so far.
I want to say that even for one book, you have to create this guideline. Because if you have the final goal, you even don't understand when the book will finish. Really.
Right.
What do you want to say about? What do you want to say about? About what? About this? No, it's not interesting. About that? No, it's not interesting too. But about what? So you have to use it to write it in your guideline. Even if you write one book. Even if you write not series, but only one book. But after you write 8 books, 10 books, you haven't to write your guideline on the piece of paper. You can take it in your mind.
Yeah, you keep it in your brain a little bit more. I understand. That's good. For an experienced writer like yourself, that works great. For other people, they have to write it down or type it on the keyboard. Whatever's going to work for your author. I think the bigger, more important thing is for people to start writing. Because sometimes I think they're a little scared about, I don't know how to do this right. I don't know how to do the guideline or outline. So I think the big important step for a lot of people, just start. Just start your writing, and then you can figure out what works best for you. But the most important step is the beginning. Just start typing. You can always change it later, folks. But putting words on your page, I think that's the most important step.
Some beginners author in Russia asked me, everyone, what do you suggest something to help us? I said, people, just write. If you haven't any book before, if you haven't write any, no, if you haven't didn't write any book before, just write. Set on your keyboard and just type anything you want, anything you have in your mind. Just type. After this, forget about your text. Forget about your text maybe for 1 or 2 weeks. Just forget. Remember after 2 weeks about your text and read it in louder. Really. Just read in louder and you will understand what you have to change and what your text is, where your text is perfect and where your text is bad.
Right.
It's for beginning author. If you are not beginning author, you have to use your own experience. You have to use your own type of writing, because you are already write one book, so you haven't asked anyone how to write the second book, the third books, and next book. You just have to sit and write it.
Absolutely. I agree. That's wonderful advice for new beginning authors as well, though. Write your stuff, wait a little while, and then read it back to yourself out loud. Because for a lot of people who don't write professional, like I don't, when they hear what it sounds like when they're writing, when they're reading it, they can pick up like, oh, that doesn't sound right, and so I need to fix that.
Right.
So I think that's wonderful advice.
Because when you see the text only by eyes. When you see only by eyes, you miss some mistakes. You miss some double words, for example. Maybe me forget. It's not interesting and it's not good kind of literature. Right. But when you hear your text, and also it will be very interesting to write your text, to write your voice, and after listen your voice. And when you hear your voice, and when you hear your text, it's more difficult when you read it, really more difficult. And you hear the mistakes, and you hear the double words and not good used words, and you understand that you have to change sometimes everything.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Another bit of advice would just be to have someone else read it for you, instead of, because as the author, sometimes you're so used to what you see, you kind of, your brain skips over the mistakes sometimes because you fix it in your head already. But when someone new reads it, your friend, a relative, some stranger you can convince on the street, whatever, they'll read it and they'll say, oh, this isn't right, or this should say maybe like this maybe. And so having someone just read it over, doesn't have to be a professional editor. You can just have a friend, or like the people on Royal Road, or some social media site. They're people who love reading stories, so they're more than happy to read it. And believe me, they're going to tell you when you make a mistake.
Right, you are. Unfortunately, I haven't such people in Russia. Unfortunately, I haven't such people in American.
Yeah, but you have the people on the internet. The internet people are your friends.
Friends, just friends.
Yeah, I hear you.
Friends can't tell you the truth because they afraid to make you heard, to hurt you. They afraid to tell you the truth because your books is not so perfect. They want it to be. It's just friends.
Yeah.
Critics No, critics once only critics. This book is awful. Where is awful?
Right.
Where is awful? Why do you think it's awful? I don't know what do you want from me. It's just awful.
Yep.
What? What did you say about? And only when you have better readers, um, who really not your friends,
Right.
who can make you heard, who may heard you, and who may tell you the truth about your text. Only when you find this person, you will be very happy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Beta readers are really important. That's what we call the special readers who help you with your story and the reading in advance and give you good critique and good criticism to help your story better. See, in my opinion, my friends, the people who I love, they like me, they love me, but they love me enough to tell me this isn't right. You should fix this because they want me to be a better author. They want me to write better and to be successful. So I think if you have those kind of friends who are going to be honest with you because they care enough about you to help you to be better, I think those are good too. But if a few more questions about your writing before we continue. What do you think the hardest and easiest things about writing are for you?
What the hardest and easiest things?
Mm-hmm. About writing.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
hardest things is to create the names. Really,
Really?
I can't. It's hurt me when I have to use another character, another person. When I have to use someone I didn't use before, I I'm shocked. I
Oh, I hear.
I'm what his name? How I will call him?
I usually use a random name generator from the internet. There's like some websites that'll just make up names for you for fantasy and role-playing games. I usually
I
use those.
I didn't use it. I know about this website and this resource, but I didn't use it because I'm so shocked that in this time, I forgot about it. Really. I have to use another person. Name and empty.
Yep.
What name and empty?
Yeah. So that's
And
the
I ask,
hardest thing for you. What about the easiest thing for you as a writer?
easiest is create the plot. Really. When I have a goal, every book which I write, there's some kind of goal in it. What I want to say about. And when I get a goal, the guideline for this to create it's the easiest. What can I do in writing? In writing.
Good. I know for me, dialogue is like the easiest thing because it's just talking. But like action scenes are so hard for me to write sometimes because I'm not that active a person. I don't do a lot of sports. So trying to paint a picture of my character, stabbing the monster or evading, blows from the characters, the only thing I can rely on is like my video game experience.
I can't say that the dialogues is harder. No, dialogues is a dialogues.
Yeah, yeah.
Description about words and no, it's not. About behavior, about everything. No. But names, it's
Names,
awesome.
names are your Achilles heel. That's
Yep.
okay. We all have the things that are hard and easy for us. So I think some people appreciate that even a successful author like yourself, there are things that are still challenging for you.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Writer's block. Have you ever gotten writer's block? And if so, how do you get over your writer's block?
What?
Oh, writer's block. That's an American term. It means when you get stuck writing and you don't know how to continue on with your story? Have you ever gotten stuck in when you're writing your story? You say, I don't know what to write next. And
No.
if so, how? No.
No, I have said the guideline and the plot is simple for me.
Okay.
I know the final goal, so my character goes through chapter by chapter to this goal, and I can't say that I really don't know about what to write next chapter. No, it's the easiest what I can tell about writing for me.
Perfect.
It's
So
just
you don't get writer's block because you have your guideline. You know where you're going. So that's another reason to write an outline or a guideline of your story, because that way you have a place in which to go. You can see where you can see your destination off in the distance as you're writing. So excellent. Let's talk a little bit about who are some of your favorite authors, and are you reading anything at the moment?
favorite authors. It's Roger Zelazny, Nine Prince of Amber.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah, I know that one. That's fun. That's a good story.
it's for me. It's the book of the books. Really, it's these 10 books is some kind of impossible for me. This amazing, really, and that is only Nine Prince of Amber.
Mhm. Yeah, that's perfect. So thank you very much for giving us that recommendation. Is that what you're reading now, or that's your favorite book?
It's my favorite book, and I read it maybe 6th or 7th time.
Nice.
Right.
That is a good book. Do you read a lot of LitRPG still? And if so, what LitRPG are you currently reading?
Oh, sometimes, some days, I was like an editor for some authors, and I read a lot of LitRPG books. But now I'm tired
I
from
see.
this massive of books, and right now I'm just reading, for example, the psychology of. Wait for a second. I use. The psychology of influence about how to manipulate people.
Now, is this research for your book, or this is a general interest?
It's just general interest. No, it's also for book for the Dark Paladin. One of main character from these books is a very good manipulator.
Good, good. So do you, well, speaking of that, what kind of research did you do for like Way of the Shaman or Galacticon?
I'm sorry?
What kind of research did you do when you wrote your other stories?
When I write about Shaman, I about Jewels.
Okay.
I really find some books about jewels, about stones, about everything which appears from this kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And in Galacticon, I never research. It's and only in Dark Paladin I started to find any different things, because I really don't know how to manipulate people. I haven't no experience in this not genre in this sort of people communication.
Yeah, in that kind of field of manipulation, I hear you, which is not bad. I think it's good that you're not a manipulative person, but if that's your character, you're right. You have to learn about that kind of stuff.
I don't know.
Okay. Now let's move on to some questions from your readers. I went on Facebook and I posted that I'm going to talk to you, and I asked questions from the audience, and they were more than happy to comply. We have a few questions, so I'll read them off to you, and you can answer them. The most common question from everybody was, when will the next Way of the Shaman and Galacticon be translated into English? You answered the one about Galacticon. You said the next book is not going to come out till you're done with the Dark Paladin series, and you're writing 3 books in that, so it's going to be a little while for that one. But do you have an estimation for the next Way of the Shaman?
Next Way of the Shaman will be maybe this December.
Mm-hmm.
I really want it. I change my translator. A new translator works more faster than
That's good.
it was. And he said that he need 4 months. 1 month finished. 3 months we will 3 months again he has. So maybe it will be December when you get the 4th Shaman, and after this again 4 months and another book, and with period of 4, maybe maximum 5 months, the whole series of Shaman will be appeared in Amazon.
Yeah, that's actually, so hopefully by the end of next year we should have all the Shaman books, if you're going on about a 5-month-ish time frame for translation purposes.
Oh, we'll wait for a second.
Let's see, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so maybe the beginning of 2018 then. Yeah, if there are 7 books. Yeah, so hey, folks, there's your answer. We're on about a 5-month translation schedule, and if things change, as they do, sometimes things get delayed, I'm sure you'll let us know about it. You have your website where you have the most up-to-date information upon the review. And of course, if you really need the latest chapter from The Way of the Shaman, you can go to Vasily's website, and you can pre-order it, and he'll send you the chapters as they're translated, so you guys can get the best up-to-date translations as they come out as soon as possible. So if you really need it, it's there for you. And I'll put the link in the show notes and a picture on the video for you guys so you know where to go.
I have no time to update some kind of information about myself. Really. I'm so tired after my first work.
Mm-hmm.
After this, I go to physical training. After this, I'm playing with my with my children.
Wow.
Yep, I have 2 children.
That's another job.
Yeah, that's another job. And after this, I started to write, and there is no way to find any time to update information about anything, really.
Well, I'm sure you do your best, and we appreciate that you do your best.
I'm so sorry, but I really has no time.
That's okay. We understand. I mean, like I said, you send the translations out to the people who pre-order on your website as soon as they come out, so that that'll satisfy a lot of different people who are in love with their stories. Our next question is from Sean Spencer Quiones. He asks, what MMORPG had the biggest influence on the Way of the Shaman series?
World of Warcraft.
There you go. I knew it. You answered that already, but he still asked, so I felt obligated to answer that question. Do you still game? And if so, what are you playing?
World of Warcraft.
See, he's a loyalist, man. He's loyal, just like Mahan in the novels. He sticks to his game.
I continue play Warcraft, and I continue to play next some years, maybe.
Hey, they keep coming out with the expansions, so there's more stuff for you to play with.
Sorry?
World of Warcraft, they have more and more expansions every year, so you have more things to do.
Right, you are.
Very good. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Have you had the chance to try the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift? And what do you think of virtual reality technology? Do you know what the HTC Vive is or the Oculus Rift? Oh,
No.
okay.
It's,
Do you know what virtual reality?
oh, wait for a second. I have
Sure.
to answer some questions.
I understand.
Sorry. Well, repeat, please.
Sure.
Use simple words.
No problem. Have you tried virtual reality products yet?
I didn't use it, and I didn't try. I saw it in a few meters from me, but I didn't use it.
Oh, that's too bad. They're really fun. I've tried them personally.
Technologies. I believe they will never appear in our world.
Oh,
really, because
I disagree with you a little bit.
If they will appear,
mm-hmm.
the humanity will die. Really, because people in the whole world very, very, very weak. If they get some new virtual reality where they find many beautiful girls, many beautiful and interesting quests, will they want it to return in their real life? I think no. They stay in this virtual world and they will die in their capsules. Really. Okay, if they not. What happened with them when in virtual life you kill people and after you return to real life you can't kill people? It's for normal people who understand difference between these two worlds, it will be very useful.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that many people can't find any difference between these two worlds and they continue to kill another person in real life because they do this in their virtual world and nobody said that it's wrong because in those worlds it's normal. And why in these worlds it's not normal? And many people will change their mind and forget about their brains and going to kill everyone. Really. I really...
those are very valid concerns about the consequences of virtual reality. I've had the chance to actually use the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, and they're very immersive. Your brain forgets that it's not in that virtual reality world, especially when you have hand controllers and you can move around and experience it. Right now, it's not as great as the virtual reality you describe in your novels, but even with this, I've seen people kind of forget, and little children, if they play, they don't know the difference at all. One, because they're little children, but two, because for them, their minds aren't developed enough to see that there's a difference between the two worlds. And so I think you're correct in part in saying that we should be cautious about how we use virtual reality, but at the same time, it makes me personally hopeful because as a teacher, I love the possibilities of what this technology can do. You can send your students to Egypt where they can't go in person, and they can see 360 videos. They can have real interactions with different cultures, different people, and it can help them to be better people. Just like it can help somebody, just like you said, it can make them violent. You can make them good too. It all depends on how it's being used. To me, it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good, it can be used for bad. Some people are going to be weird about it and go on killing sprees. That can't be helped sometimes. That's their brain, but it's not the tech.
You are right. Virtual technology is some kind of weapon, and it depends how to use this weapon. You can use it for the peace, you can use it for the war.
Mm-hmm.
and to use it to teach people, to help people without any legs, any arms, for example. It's one kind of using. And the other part is gaming, like it's Barleona or the other Valdira and others.
Right.
And I'm very afraid someone create these games, really. To use virtual reality in teaching, in helping people, no problem. It's normal. It's perfect. But use it in the gaming industry, no. I don't know. Want this.
Yeah. It's the thing I think is easier to judge once you've used it yourself, because then you can kind of decide, does this make me want to hurt somebody any more than it does in real life? And for some people it does. For some people, when they walk off of a cliff and they're falling in virtuality, they feel, their body feels the sensation of falling. You're right. And there's that same distinction. There's a different kind of feel when you're killing somebody, you're pointing a gun at somebody and killing something in the game and in real life. And it'll depend on the game characters and the game developers what kind of games they make. Because I know I've killed zombies in virtual reality, and I don't feel any more likely to kill people. But because again, they're monsters, they're zombies in the game. When you start killing people that look like people in a video game like virtual reality, it might be challenging, and that might change the way that game developers make games. Game developers might see, this is not a good thing. We have to change the way we do our games. Virtual reality games might end up being more like regular quests, like Crafting Quest, Fetch Quest, other kind of games like that. It may change the way we do video games.
People like blood.
They do.
So
I don't disagree.
The first game will be about crafting, about flowers, and about butterflies, for example. But the third games, fourth games, and others will be about blood, shooting, killing, and everything. And this will be destroy humanity and kill it, really.
Like I said, as someone who's done, there's a lot of virtual reality games out there. I can see both sides of it. So I appreciate your point of view in that warning. So virtual reality creators, if you're listening, be careful. Vasily Mahanenko has warned you that you're going to be destroying humanity.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, next question. Let's see. Stephen Morse, who's also a LitRPG author, he asked, when you started, did you expect your books to be 7 books for Way of the Shaman? And have you ever thought of expanding past 7 books?
When as I have said, the first book was created only from my mind, and when I write it, I didn't expect continues.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that it will be next books, but when I started to create another books, second, third, fourth, and fifth, I create the whole guideline for the whole series, really. And for my opinion, the series have to finish in a 5th book. For me, it's the finish of this series.
Okay.
Really. But I have, after first books, I write a contract with our
Publisher?
Publisher, yeah, right there. And in this contract, I have to write not 5, 6 books, really. And when I finished the 5th books, and for me decided that's all, the Way of Shaman finished. The publisher said, okay, man, and where is the 6th book? And I said, oh my god, and create 2 books to continue the Way of Shaman. And so the first book was without guideline, 2, 3, 4, and 5th, 1 guideline, and 6-7 was third guideline.
Wow, so that's good. Have you ever thought about going back to the way of the Shaman world and maybe
No,
doing a new story? No?
no. The Way
Okay.
of Shaman after 7 books finished.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for that answer. Next question, Bogsla Bobrek. He asks, why does the hero Mahan become such a super lucky snowflake? So I think he means...
You will find answer in book 6.
Okay.
Really?
So in book 6 we'll find out the answer.
Yes. In books 6 you will find the answer of this question.
Okay.
I don't want to give you a spoiler.
Hey, perfect. That's fine. Sorry, buddy, Bobleski, for there's your answer. I think that's a really good answer. Read the rest of the books, and you're going to find out. That's
Really? There is answer for everywhere, everything about what Mahan will find, will get, and will create. Really.
perfect. Excellent. Thank you for the answer. Our next question comes from Brian Irby, I think. He asks, do you think that there's a market in Russia for American LitRPG?
It depends. Really, if someone will translate American LitRPG in Russian, it will be interesting, really. But it costs expensive, really. It costs too much money. For example, to translate one book from Russian to English, it costs some kind of $10,000.
Wow, that is really expensive.
And if someone from American author will risk and translate their books in Russian, spend equal money, I don't know. Maybe it will be really a risk, and Russian readers said, what is it? Really, they can. Also, I want to say that Russian readers don't prefer to pay. They like to download.
Okay,
Right.
no, that's a fair commentary. So next question. If LitRPG becomes popular in the United States, do you ever think that you'd come to something like Comic-Con in San Diego or Worldcon to do like book signings?
It's too expensive for me to go in this what is it?
The conventions?
Yep, it's first of all I have to get some tickets. After I have to get some time to fly in America. After this I have to get some, I don't know, visa. After this I have so many I have to, and so little what will I get from this?
So you would love to come, except that you can't afford it, basically,
Yeah.
right?
In Russia, every year I came in Russian such like Comic-Con, not, but in Russia.
Right. I've seen you at some of the cons for some of the Russian ones. I've seen them make videos of you at the
Yeah.
cons fighting other authors, I think, with the swords. I saw that one, so I know you go to the cons there.
With
So.
the swords, it was Dmitry Rus.
Mhm.
And
Sometimes the conventions will actually pay for authors to come to the United States. Like they'll pay for flights, they'll pay for hotels. So if they did that, then maybe you'd come.
If someone wants to see me And if he wants to pay me, I will fly with a pleasure, really.
Perfect. Yeah. You're happy to do it as long as it's financially feasible, because we both know authors aren't super rich. So I understand
Really?
why. Yeah, yeah.
Show me the
It's a
author
thing.
rich.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Next question. That's actually the last question is, do you intend to continue The Way of Shaman past book 7 by Justin Johansson? And you've already answered that one. So perfect. That's the end of our questions from the audience. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. Do you think there's anything that you wanted to add that I haven't included so far?
Read the LitRPG. I just want to add this, really.
Perfect. So, if you happen, we're having our first LitRPG convention, I think, in Atlanta. One of our authors here, Alaron Kong, is doing a meetup. So, if you want to say hi to them, I'm sure the group would appreciate it. So, we appreciate you coming by. Now, let me know how can people who want to read your stuff discover your things? Where is your stuff at?
I don't know. Well, type please this question because I miss.
Sure, no problem. It's okay. I'll let them know. You can find all of Vasily Mahanenko's stuff on Amazon.com. It's all available for digital distribution. You can actually also buy audiobooks. He also has print publications if you're interested in buying the physical copies of his novels. They're all available on Amazon, so you guys can purchase it. Although I'll have in the links on the show notes for this interview everywhere you can purchase his things. It's also available on his website at mahanenko.ru. /en. I'll put it in the notes, of course, folks, for you guys to look at all the things that we've talked about. He has an Amazon author page. He has a Goodreads page as well, so you can get all this information there. So this will be the end of the interview. Vasily, thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk to me. I know, you're a busy guy. You got work. You got your family. You got your author stuff that you're writing. And of course, you have a bunch of other million projects. You have, I think you said 7 other projects you're doing currently. So I know you're busy. So thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you very much. And if you want to continue, if you want another meeting, it will be very interesting to meet you again.
I appreciate the offer, and I'm probably going to take you up on it at some point. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody who's listening and watching. I'm Ramon Mejia. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen and watch this interview with Vasily Mahanenko, author of The Way of the Shaman series and Galacticon in English. He has a bunch of other stuff coming out soon, obviously. Thank you guys for listening and watching. For Geek Bytes Podcast, I'm Ramon, and remember, folks, to go geek out about something.